Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay. So now, MN 20. Vittaka Santhana Sutta. The removal of distracting thoughts. On one occasion, thus have I heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Shravati in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. Here he addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, when a bhikkhu is pursuing the higher mind, and we can say even students, not only bhikkhus. Bhikkhus, when bhikkhu is pursuing the higher mind, from time to time, he should give attention to 5 signs. What are the 5? Here, when a bhikkhu is giving attention to some sign, and owing to that sign, there arise in him evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion, then he should give attention to some other sign connected with what is wholesome instead. So basically, here, the main, what Bhante Vimal Ramsi has given us, that is 6 hours. So when we see the 8th Fold Noble Path, right efforts, Samma Vayamo, is the first amongst all the 8th Fold Noble Path, amongst all 8. And the whole process of meditation is purifying our mind. From one, we are converting our mind from unwholesome to wholesome. So this is the real conversion. This is not conversion of some religion. Yes, it is a conversion from unwholesome to wholesome. We all are born because of some craving. Otherwise, we would have been arhats. So everyone has an underlying tendency of 5 hindrances. We all are born because of that. But now we are raising up. We are trying to raise up from all these negative tendencies or all habitual tendencies. We should not say negative or positive. So all habitual tendencies, we all are born because of that, and we have to rise up from those habitual tendencies to come out of sufferings. So when he says here, when a bhikkhu is giving attention to some sign, that is the object of meditation. Whatever object of meditation we have chosen, when we are giving attention to that sign, and owing to that sign, there arise in him evil, unwholesome thoughts. Now, we should not think that evil, unwholesome thoughts are distractions. No. Anything that is taking you away from an object of meditation is distraction. Otherwise, when we say only evil, unwholesome thoughts, that very bad thoughts are only distractions. No, it's not like that. Those are bad, are hatred thoughts. That's a different. But even sensual pleasures, anything that is taking you away from the object of meditation is a distraction. So first we will know what is distraction. This is what I just told you. So it is not only evil, unwholesome thoughts. When it is always written over evil, unwholesome thoughts. It is not only bad thoughts. It's anything that takes you away from the object of meditation is restlessness. I want to do this. I want to complete this work. Anything that takes you away from the object of meditation is a distraction. So let us make that clear first. But this evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire. So if you see our thought patterns, either there is a desire or there is a hate, or they are most deluded. What is delusion? Delusion is when you take things personally. Your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own body, when you take it personally as me, mine, my thoughts, my concepts, my habits, that is a real delusion. And because of this delusion, the desire or hate increases. Actually, the basic is delusion. If you just do not take this, if you're just aware that you are deluded, in the sense you're taking things personally, then there will be less of hate or less of desire. Because you take your own feelings very personally, your own sensual pleasures very personally, your own cravings very personally. That is why this desire increases. That is why the hate increases, and we suffer more. So then he should give attention to some other signs connected with what is wholesome instead. Now here the formula of 6R starts. So when Bhikkhu is giving attention to some object of, we are doing this loving kindness, we have taken this object of loving kindness, and then unwholesome thought arises. Those thoughts can be of desire, hate, or delusion. Then he should give attention to some other sign, which is what is wholesome. That is, first you recognize that the unwholesome thought has come. We are away from the object of meditation. First is recognize. Then release the attention, not to get disturbed by what has arisen. Any hindrance that has arisen, let it be there. Just release your attention, which is a very subtle thing. Very subtle thing. And that is the main crux. In fact, releasing becomes a little more difficult. I think once you release it, you are relaxed. But this releasing doesn't happen immediately. You cannot release the hindrances fully at one time. No. Just the little bit of energy. Just the little bit of energy is released every time. It is not that once your mind has wandered and that hindrance is gone forever. Once you release it, never. The hatred, supposing if you think that I don't like this person, so I recognize, release. It is not going to get released immediately, but slowly, very slowly, the energy tendency, the roots of our energy, the roots of our desire or craving towards anything will get a little shattered whenever you release a little bit. Supposing a big, huge tree, when we want to uproot it, it is not that immediately you can uproot the whole roots of all the tree. A little bit of shaking is there. Then little bit of shaking is there. Every time you shake it a little, every time you shake it a little, that tree gets uprooted. The roots, which are holded very firmly to the ground, they get the same things. Our roots of our hindrances are very deep rooted because it has come from many past lives. It is not only of this past life. So the more the attachment, the more the suffering. So how much is your attachment towards your own feelings or towards your own concepts, or how much is your attachment towards your own delusion? Delusion of me, mine, the more the suffering. And doesn't matter, but at least we have started getting disconnected little by little. It's not that we'll get uprooted immediately, but at least little by little we have started knowing the method of coming out of all these unwholesome mindsets. First of all, we have started recognizing what is unwholesome. Anything that is taking you away from the object of meditation. That is why Bhante has given us, Bhante Vimlaramsi has given us this light object of meditation, that is Brahma Viharas, the feeling meditation. It's very light. That is why there is no concentration. It is just collected. So your mind is very light. Your awareness is towards that. Your awareness is orbiting that loving kindness feeling, and it wanders. Just recognize, release the attention, Relax, bring the attention on your body. Relax any tightness, tension, even if it is subtle. It will not be very gross sensations you'll have, just a little, just relax and smile. So very much wholesome you have started coming. And then again with a pure mind, once you release and relax, there's a purity. Your mind is really pure. And then with that pure mind, you come back to the loving kindness feeling, which is the real wholesome state. So every time you're purifying your mind, little by little, it's going to be very subtle, but it is very authentic. Very authentic. Then even evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion are abandoned in him and subside, little by little. With the abandoning of them, his mind becomes steadied internally, quieted, brought to stillness, collected, just like how a skilled carpenter might remove and extract the croc's peg by means of a fine one, so too. So it is like just when your mind becomes, when you're going to higher stages of jhanas, and there your mind, your alertness, your awareness is very nice. Your sati is very good. That time when the things start arising, you're able with how a carpenter, with a sharp thing, he can remove the peg. He needs something sharp to remove that peg. The same way, with the fine attention, with other signs connected, with the wholesome signs connected, you can remove your own hindrances. So his mind becomes more steady, quietened, brought to stillness, and collected. So this is how our mind, we have to, why we are meditating, basically, to know where our attachments are. Supposing if you want to know, where is the slope of your dining table? What will you do? You'll put some water on the center of the dining table. And you will come to know where the slope is. That is how, when we want to know where our attachments are, because of that attachments we are suffering. Where are our desires? So we have to take this object of meditation, very light object. So it goes, your mind goes, and that is how. So never feel bad if your mind is wandering. It's a very active. You're bringing it back, you're knowing it, releasing, relaxing the energies towards your hindrances. We are releasing and relaxing our energies. Remember, release word is more important. Releasing the energy, the attention given to those hindrances, because the attention itself is the real food or fuel for your hindrances to grow stronger. So now we are releasing the attentions and bringing it back. Then it is very easy to relax. So this is the first, he said the 5 signs. First sign is that you're giving attention to wholesome object and your mind has gone. And when you're giving attention, that time also this unwholesome thoughts will keep coming. With these unwholesome thoughts, we only have sown them. So it is going to pop up. Doesn't matter. It's we only who have sown them. So every time, whenever they come, just accept, smile, and relax. So what is meditation? Basically, you should really understand again and again. Meditation is about recognizing how your mind, attention moves from one thing to another. And it is so impersonal. We are not doing it purposely. Our intention was to be with the loving kindness. And an attention keeps going here and there. So again, we have to bring our attention back, excuse me, to the object of meditation by releasing those other attentions. But these hindrances keep popping up. So never mind them coming up. We have to be very patiently, very smilingly. We have to recognize our own hindrances and keep releasing the energies over there. So we are very fortunate to have this 6 hours formula. Otherwise, what happened? We used to go for concentration meditation, absorption meditation. And that time we used to feel very nicely. Even I have practiced Anapanasati a lot. And the concentration deep stages I've seen. But then whenever we came out of that meditation, again those hindrances to pop up, and they had more strength by coming up. So because the energies, we had suppressed those hindrances, so they come up with full energy. So this is a very nice meditation technique, in the sense this having this light object of meditation, the Brahma Viharas, and we are constantly aware of the mind's movement. So where our mind is going, and we are releasing, relaxing the energies. So whenever they pop up, they don't come up with full strength. They will pop up. So they will come up with lesser strength every time they pop up. And we also know our habitual tendencies much better. If while he is giving attention to some other sign connected with what is wholesome, but there still arises in him evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion, then he should examine the danger in those thoughts. Now, even if you have started paying attention to wholesome things, and when you're paying attention to the wholesome things, but still they'll pop up. They have that much of strength. Unwholesome things are hindrances. They have that much of strength. They will pop up. Till we become arant, they keep popping up. How we are reacting towards them will keep changing as we go deeper into meditation. They are not going to, it's not going to happen that they will stop popping up. It's never going to happen. How our reaction towards those negative, towards those unwholesome things, how much we are into equanimity, observing those hindrances, that is a real sign of progress. Awareness and equanimity, both should go together. It's only awareness, and if you're not equanimous, then any hindrances arises, we feel shattered. We feel, oh, how come this is still arising? How many years I have meditating, but how come it still come? Because it was concentration meditation. Even if they pop up, we get a big shock. So no, they are going to pop up. These are the insights and equanimity. Sometimes vipassana, together when they go, it's much easier to handle our own hindrances. Because side by side, when we are releasing and relaxing, we are coming into tranquility also. So he should examine the danger in those thoughts. These thoughts are unwholesome. They are reprehensible. That is very not good. See, now when the more we go into deep meditation, we come to know even the slightest of greed or slightest of hatred also really disturbs us. We say, oh, now we have started recognizing them in a very subtle way. First, very big, gross things used to come. So that time we were more this. Now they will come in a very subtle way. And we have started recognizing even this subtlest greed also, or any hindrances will affect us. And these thoughts are unwholesome. We start coming, and they are more, that time we really recognize these deeper levels of hindrances. They result in suffering. Even craving, which we used to think, which is very nice, we used to feel very pleasurable, sensual pleasures. But they are suffering. This, as we go higher into our own meditation, we will come to know, okay, even the subtlest thing, which used to be very joyous for us at our lives into beginning before meditation. Now we have started thinking, oh, this is suffering. Even the most pleasurable thing also, we start thinking it is suffering. So as he examines the danger in those thoughts, then evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion are abandoned in him and subsided. So as we go deeper into our meditation, the more unwholesome thoughts or the deeper side of the subtle side of the hindrances pop up, and we also start to come to know, okay, this is also a lot of hindrance. This is a lot of suffering. With the abandoning of them, his mind becomes steady internally, brought to stillness and concentrated, just like a young youthful man or a woman, and fond of ornaments. Now, this example he is given in this sutta. Just like a youthful man or a woman, and fond of ornaments, would be horrified and disgusted if a carcass, that is a dead snake, dead body of a snake, or a dog, or a human being, were hung around his or her neck. So too, what will happen? Those are very fond of ornaments and having a lot of pleasure, and they come to know a dead snake is around their neck, or a dog, or a human being. They will be so disgusted about it. So when a bhikkhu examines the danger in those thoughts, his mind, this is how. The more deeper we go into our meditations, into higher jhanas, our mind starts understanding. Even the slightest of distraction is going here. Slightest of, so we come to know, oh, I still have that craving. I still have those subtle cravings are there. We start come to know. So this is very important. That is why we have to meditate. And then we really get disgusted. So we have to do 6 hours. 6 hours. Not to increase our own hatred towards our own self. Just 6 hours. Because all these things we only have sown them. So the more you get disgusted, you should not use these words also. But just recognize there is a lot of craving or hatred in me. So just recognize, release, relax, smile. And this all comes because of delusion. His mind becomes steadied internally, brought to singleness or stillness and collected. So this is the first sign was over. This is the second sign. First was giving attention to some signs. Then even after giving attention to wholesome thing, still your mind pops up with unwholesome thing. Then again we have to examine more and go deeper. So this is more this removal of distracting thoughts. Bhante Vimaramsi has really, we are so grateful to him that he has given us the wonderful formula of 6 hours. And that personally, it has helped me a lot. Personally, it has helped me a lot. If while he's examining the danger in those thoughts, now first was attention, then he started examining. Now when he's examining the danger in those thoughts, there still arise in him evil, unwholesome. See, unwholesome, evil thoughts, they keep arising. But how we are reacting to them, how our reactions towards the unwholesome things. We are now becoming more equanimous. Oh, let it come. Good. I'm not just going to pay attention to it. If while he's examining the danger in those thoughts, there still arise in him evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion, then he should strive to forget those thoughts and should not give attention to them. So try to forget those thoughts is a little bit difficult. One should just recognize it's still there. And in fact, calling them unwholesome, evil, you just say, oh, my mind is getting wandered or distracted. It's distraction. One of the hindrances. Oh, this hindrance is still there. Come on. Let me check. Because it is I like or I don't like. When this hindrance arises, there's a feeling. These feelings, they keep coming. Because we are still alive. So we have feelings. They keep arising, the feelings. The moment the feelings arise, our mind has this habitual tendency of saying, this is I like it or I don't like it. there is a contact, a thought, or any on the contact on any of the sensual objects, or the base of sensual eye, nose, or the mind, and there's a feeling, and then the mind says, I don't like it or I like it. So this I like it or I don't like it is the main issue here. So just relax. This is craving, and that's give you tension, tightness. And then there is a craving. After craving comes upadana, that is clinging. So your mind starts making stories, why I don't like it or why I like it. So that means that energy gets more packed now. Energy has started getting packed over there. So this is how we start putting the energy into anything. And then the habitual tendencies of reacting towards craving. If you like it, then I want it, why this story, and then I want it, the habitual tendency, and then the suffering, finally the suffering. Now, whenever such feelings come, and if you start recognizing, releasing, and relaxing immediately, the energy which was going to go into clinging or habitual tendencies, they get dissipated. They lose their energy. And this is how we try to change our habit tendencies from which were unwholesome. Now they've started coming to wholesome. And wholesome is always loving kindness or any of the Brahma Viharas, and smile for sure. Then any evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion are abandoned in him and steadied. With the abandoning of them, his mind becomes steadied, internally, quieted, brought to singleness and concentrate, and collected. Just like a man with good eyes, who did not want to see forms that had come within the range of sight, would either shut his eyes or look away. So too, when a bhikkhu tries to forget those thoughts and does not give attention to them, his mind becomes steadied internally, quieted, brought to stillness, and collected. So this is a good example. Just like a man with good eyes, who did not want to see forms that had come within the range of sight. So now here, whenever such negative thoughts or unwholesome thoughts or distracting thoughts, they come. And a person who has a good eyes, he knows that I should not see that. He will turn away his face or he will close his eyes, shut his eyes. The same way, whenever we have started recognizing the unwholesome has started arising. Oh, recognize. The moment you recognize means you're having good eyes. A person who is not having good eyesight will not recognize the things when it comes too near only, or you really bash into it. Then you really know. If those who are blind, they will never realize what are they heading on to. The same thing, if our awareness is good, if our eyesight is good, we will immediately come to know what unwholesome states are arising. Even from far end also, we'll start come to know. Oh, the moment I see this, I've started criticizing things. But very far away of things also you come to know. And before you bang into all those reactions, you start doing 6 hours, and smiling, and start recognizing your habitual tendencies. So this is how this mindfulness, once it gets increased, and we start to know our habitual tendency, the moment I see that person, if I'm having that negativity, I will start recognizing how my mind has started moving. And immediately when you smile or relax or not take it personally, the feeling that arises, you are out of suffering. So this is how the mind gets steadied internally, quieted, brought to singleness, and collected. Because once we react into it, into a situation, then it is impossible to reverse. So we have already made a bad karma. So before that only, before the downfall, before we take that action, if we start doing 6 hours, and releasing, relaxing, then we really stop making new bad karmas. Because whatever we have done in the past only keep arising in the form of hindrances. So we have to be very alert. And this is where the mindfulness. So this example is very nice. Just like a man with good eyes who did not want to see forms that had come within the range of the sight. Range of the sight. So even if you start with the mindfulness, you'll start knowing the unwholesome things which are coming in range of your mind. Before that, only you'll start recognizing them and releasing them. Now the fourth thing is, if while he is trying to forget those thoughts and is not giving attention to them, there still arise in him evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion, then he should give attention to stilling the thought formations of those thoughts. Then any evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, hate, and delusion are abandoned in him and subside. With the abandoning of them, his mind becomes steadied, internally quiet, brought to stillness and collected. So when he's trying to forget, but still they keep popping up. So give attention here again. Then he should give attention to stilling the thought formation. Now, what is this thought formation? From where it is coming up? Why is this habitual tendency? He has to just relax. The more you relax and see the impermanency of those thought formations, instead of pushing them or forgetting them, how impermanent they are. Then you start dissecting. This is all these thought formations. From where are they arising? Why am I taking those personally? So when you really encounter them in such way, oh, these are my thoughts. They are my habitual tendencies. Whenever they come in contact, so they create these subtle sensations, feelings, and I react to those feelings. But if I just relax, keep relaxing, keep smiling, nothing lasts longer. Before they go, we start reacting to that. So everything is impermanent. The thought patterns, the reactions. But because of our own reactions, we make it more permanent. More thinking, we make things more permanent. The hatred starts increasing. The craving starts increasing. So once he starts observing our thought patterns and he starts releasing, relaxing in a much matured way, then the attention to stilling the thought formations of those thoughts will come. Then any evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, with hate, and with delusion are abandoned in him, subsided. With the abandoning of them, his mind becomes steadied, internally quieted, brought to stillness, and collected. Just like a man walking fast. Now here is a very good example again. Just like a man walking fast might consider, why am I walking fast? See, this is stilling the thought formation. Asking yourself, why am I walking so fast? Because of habitual tendency, a person is walking fast or reacting very fast or overthinking. Then stilling the thought formation is, why am I walking fast? What if I walk slowly? What if I walk slowly? Such a nice question to ask for yourself. Because we unnecessary, with our habitual tendencies, we walk fast. That is how even our mind unnecessarily runs very fast, overthinking. Why am I thinking so fast? What am I going to achieve by this thought pattern? So this is how we are stilling the thought formations. What if I walk slowly? And when he's walking slowly, then he might consider, why am I walking slowly? What if I stand? See how we are stilling our mind formations. And he would stand. Then he might consider, why am I standing? So this is investigation. Huh? Investigation mind. This is also one of the enlightenment factors. Why am I standing? What if I sit? and he would sit, then he might consider, why am I sitting? What if I lie down? And he would lie down. So this is how we quietened our mind. When we are doing 6 directions, then we come to, your mind gets stilled. Slowly, it doesn't want to move. And then we go to the quiet mind. This is the system laid down. Because we start investigating, our mind becomes quiet. So why am I sitting? What if I lie down? And he would lie down. By doing so, he would substitute for each grosser posture one, then the most subtlest postures. So too, when a bhikkhu gives attention to stilling the thought formation of those thoughts, his mind becomes steadied internally, quiet, brought to singleness and collected. Brought to stillness and collected. So this was the fourth. See, the first was like giving attention. Then when you are giving cards, you start examining the danger into that, those thoughts. Examining the danger, then you have to learn to forget or release more, not give more attention to that. And then stilling the thought patterns. Why am I doing? So investigating comes into this. Now the next fifth one, which is given, that is a little bit harsh. That is that you teeth clenching, and which is I think even Bhante has avoided reading that. So we'll avoid reading that. There's no point into that. So basically 4 signs are more important. Bhikkhus, by following the instructions above, this bhikkhu is then called a master of courses of thoughts. So when you follow these ways of your mindfulness, or your thought patterns, or your awareness, so this is called as courses of thought. He will think whatever thought he wishes to think, and he will not think any thought that he does not wish to think. Once that much of mastery we have gained over our mindfulness, so immediately we come to know when we have to do 6 hours. And now with this practice of 6 hours, our mindfulness muscles become more stronger. So it is in our hand now, whether to be unwholesome or whether to be wholesome. So this conversion, it becomes very slowly, and then we get rooted into wholesome things. He has removed craving, cut off the fetters, and with complete penetration of conceit, he has made an end of suffering. So slowly, once you get this mastery over your mind of removing the unwholesome, distracting thoughts by the 4 signs that we have just discussed. Basically 6 hours. And 6 hours practice also becomes very steady, very subtle. And the thought patterns, the hindrances also become very steady and very subtle. But they keep rising up, and how our reaction towards it. How are we reacting towards it? How are we analyzing them? That is the whole purpose of meditation. And by meditation, we are actually doing meditation to improve our unwholesome thought patterns and not others. So the more we go into our own self and remove our own hindrances, keep our mind continuously with the object of meditation, smiling, the more wholesome things, it will get purer and purer, slowly by slowly. And we come out of craving, basically craving, and the fetters, and the conceit of me, mine, which is very deep. And then later on we achieve the higher stage. This is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's word. Okay. So this was it. Ittaka Santana Sutta, the removal of distracting thoughts. Very much grateful to Bhante Vimal Ramsi from my heart, because bringing suttas into reading was a dream for me, basically. And by reading and listening to his suttas, his discourses, really so many things get clear. And by his twin practice and 6 hours, the mind is really getting little by little purified, for sure. Any questions from your side?
Hello.
Yes.
I get a bit confused about the release step and the relax step, and I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I understood that the release step was to stop thinking about the distraction, but by the fact that you recognized the distraction in the first place, doesn't that mean you've already stopped thinking about it?
No. We have recognized it. And supposing there is one more meditation technique, you recognize and immediately you come back to your object of meditation. You're bringing the craving back. You say, oh, my mind is distracted. And you immediately come into any other form of, you're bringing the craving back because you're coming with that agitated mind again. Release the attention, properly recognize that your mind is distracted. Keep the distraction as it is. Just remove the me and mine from that. Release the attention, me and mine, and come back. That is the release. Release is from the mind. Relax is on the body level. So release is mind. You have to release it from your mind. And relax is on the body tightness, tension. So this difference is between release and relax. And actually, and it doesn't get released very, 100% release is never there. Never there, 100% release. Sometimes, yes, it will become 100%. But at least the attention, little bit of attention, you come back. The ratio keeps changing. First time, it will be like only 20% release is there. Then 50%. Then 80%. Then slowly, 100% release from your hindrances. Because your mind will again and again go to the same hindrances of that type, because of the habitual tendencies. So release is very important. Only recognizing is not important. Why these 6 steps are very important? They're very fast, very subtle, but release. And in the beginning also, we cannot understand what is release. Slowly by practicing, we'll come to know. Yeah, little bit release and bring the attention back. We should not push the hindrances. We should not get fighting with the hindrances. We just have to not pay attention to them. Supposing if a stranger comes and you're watching at your balcony and a stranger comes, you will not entertain him. You're not paying attention to the stranger. You have recognized the stranger, but you're not giving more attention. You're not curious about him. You're not entertaining him. So just release the attention. Come back on your body and relax, tightness. See the thoughts as strangers. It is easier to release them.
Miss, can I ask you a question? Sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
No, it's okay. You go on. Go ahead.
Thank you, Paul. Miss, when I release, am I releasing the craving?
Yeah, the attachment towards that hindrances, that is craving. Okay, you're releasing the craving. Otherwise, your mind would have started engaging itself into that hindrances. That is craving. We're increasing craving. Like it or not like it, both are craving only.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Yeah, I'm sorry, Paul. You can continue. I'll speak after you. Thank you so much.
Okay. When you recognize you've been distracted, I know you're supposed to ignore it afterwards, but how can you identify your distractions if you're ignoring it? haven't you got to listen, understand what it is you're being distracted by? Or have I misunderstood?
Yes, yes. We are not ignoring them. We are recognizing them.
Right.
This is we are recognizing them. We are not ignoring is we are being indifferent towards them. And when you are recognizing them, you are being equanimous towards them. So indifference and equanimous, very important. This difference is there between indifferent. When you're ignoring your own distractions, so many times we ignore them. We know we are ignoring. That is suppressing. Here we are recognizing. Just recognize that hindrances has come. Oh, release the attention towards it. It will be there, but it will not have energy. How a hindrance has an energy when we want to push it away or when we want to change it. Why this has come? I want to change it. No need to change it. No need to push it. No need to fight. Just take your me, mine. This is my hindrance. Just take myself out. The attention. Attention is me, mine. Bring the attention back into loving kindness. This will have no energy of its. It will stay there. It will get processed and it will go away. So the hindrances has no energy of its own. They will arise, but it doesn't have the fueling of attention. It's giving attention, increase the others. So by ignoring also, we gone at the back of the, but we will never. It is like more of suppressing. So better recognize, yeah, it has come, just not to give attention towards it. There should not be indifference towards your hindrances. Because supposing if you are watching a movie, you are outside with some sensual pleasures, we are ignoring our hindrances. We are not, that is delusion. So we are not paying attention. Only by meditation, we come to know what our hindrances are by recognizing them, releasing them, relaxing them. Our whole life we have been ignoring them. So ignoring doesn't really work out. They are still there and they will pop up. Let them pop up, but we're not going to fuel. And we come to know where our attachments are. And then only we can come out of those attachments smilingly.
Thank you. That explains it.
And I would like, okay.
Yeah, sure. So, hello, ma'am. I'm here on this for the first time with you, probably. I've been practicing TWIM for quite some time. So, regarding, I'll share my experience of how I feel when I do the 6R. So, coming to when we recognize and when we release. So, every time we release, the relaxing becomes much more easier and subtle. That's the symbol, that's a sign, an indication that we have released, the hindrance has been released well. So, probably, yeah. Paul, this is what I'm trying to communicate to you also, that if you are not sure, have you been able to release it well or no? The moment we feel relaxed within, the breath becomes much more subtle and calm, and there is a sense of peace and stillness which we can sense if we are deeply connected to our own self, and if we are in the right state of awareness also. So, this is how I have experienced the release and the relaxed step. And once you are relaxed, the smile automatically comes on its own, because the
Smile,
feeling of,
yeah.
yes, the feeling of relaxing is itself brings smile on its own. We don't have to remind ourselves to smile. The relaxing brings the smile, and then we return back to, and so swiftly we move back to the loving state, because that's a joyous place, and that's how we are, that's the wholesome place where we want to cultivate ourselves towards. So this is how the flow of 6R practically goes within inside, if we are alert and aware while doing the 6R. in the meditation practice. So hope that helps. Yeah, thank you
the
so
smile
much.
that is why so much of emphasis is being given to smile by Bhante. When you smile, you only really recognize if your smile is free smile or just an artificial smile. If there's a free smile coming up, then you recognize, there's a little relief from that hindrances. When you release it, you come to know that smile. You feel the relief by releasing and relaxing. And this is only small nibbana, mundane nibbana, this relief. What else? Anything else? Any questions? Okay. We share merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearlessly. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu. Thank you, everybody, for sharing and asking questions. This is a good discussion forum. Very nice.
Thank you so much, ma'am.